Hello, 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 hello. Happy Wednesday. I can't believe it's Wednesday already, man. Jeez. What is going on? I feel like these days just fly by. Maybe it's just me. But welcome, welcome. A few minutes early. Got a few minutes here before we get going here on the live stream. Got to tweet this out. Hold on. Hope you guys' Wednesday evenings are going all right. I got a night full of studying ahead of me, which is no fun. Studying for a certification for work. But I'm going to be away at a lake all weekend, so got to put in the work tonight and tomorrow night. But welcome. We're going to get going on Rod Moore here. Interesting prospect. Wow, we're already up to 7 viewers. We got a few minutes to go. 8 viewers. What's going on? What's up, Aaron? Welcome back to the stream. Hold on, let me tweet this out. You want to hear how loud my keyboard is, guys? Ready for this? I'm going to quote retweet. Listen how loud that is, man. Mechanical keyboard. Great for, the feel of the fingers, but not great for streaming. I'll give you that much. CFP Addict. It's weird that a day takes forever, but a week goes by in a flash. These days have been going quicker than usual for me. But I'm with you. Wake up tomorrow, it'll be Thursday. I'll be like, what the hell? How'd that happen? Rod Moore. I think I always try to think of like, what should my first sentence be when I'm writing these articles? You guys can't see it. But right there. Sometimes I look at a recruit and think, all right, what am I missing? Right? Because he's got a lot of skills, man. A lot of skills. Pretty high IQ. Pretty fast. Track star. He qualified for states in Ohio for his events there. It's got a lot of things going for him. I'm a gamer, so I want a mechanical keyboard. That's fair. I need to get like a quiet keyboard. Actually, I do have another keyboard that's a bit quieter, but it's at my wife's desk in here. So, that's how that goes. All right, we'll give another minute, another 2 minutes or so. Let people join because I am a bit early. But Rod Moore, man. Yeah, I don't get it. Oh, if you guys can hear that, there's like a weed whacker next door. He always chooses the worst time. Yeah, you guys can definitely hear that. All right. But, yeah, Rod Moore. It's actually really funny. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can get there. I think his dad was commenting on some of these videos. Let me go right here. Click into it. Steve Inception. Yeah, look. Roderick Moore. I wonder who that is. His elite track speed, those track times are from his indoor track season of his sophomore year. All right, so the times I said in this video are a bit outdated. I couldn't find the dates on them, but man, it's funny. I've had conversations with current recruits' dads and previous dads. They always reach out after, not always, once in a while I'll get a dad who reaches out on Twitter or somewhere just talking about their kid. It's really funny. It's one of my favorite aspects. They're like, oh, I watched the video. It's like, uh-oh. So keep in mind if I'm ever like, not too inflammatory, it's because maybe a recruit's dad will yell at me or something. Haven't had any bad engagements with that, but keep that in mind. Okay, we're right at about 8:30. I'm going to get going here. So Rod Moore, around 500 nationally, 3-star safety out of the state of Ohio. Good player overall. Northmont High School. Let's pull up the pen here real quick. Bring it over. What color are they? What color is Northmont High School? All right, we're going to use white. Let's do that. Color, white. Actually, that's not going to show up too well, is it? Yeah, let's just do our usual blue, yellow, boom. All right, we're good. Here we go. Roderick Moore. Rod Moore Jr. So here, this is something that'll come up. Nice one-handed snag there on the pick. This is something that'll come up a lot in his scouting report. If you read through it, his ability just in open space. Good ball skills. He has big hands. So his wide receiving ability, able to track the ball down well. Good instincts, though. So him kind of in open space, tracking the ball, something he's good at. Good instincts out there. So there again, these are kind of like, not necessarily like free plays. Oh my gosh. My giant noggin, Ross. You saved it. You saved it. Thankfully, that first play didn't cost me. But holy cow. Thank you. I already know there's going to be a comment saying like, your face is huge. It's going to happen. All right, thank you. You guys saved me. All right, so for these first two plays, they're kind of like free picks, right? And when I say free, I just mean they're hold on, I missed this last play. When I say free, I just mean they're kind of like, you know, like you play what is it? Free for all 500, whatever. We throw a ball up in the backyard, everyone's trying to receive it. I forget. I'm blanking on the name of that game. But here he is in run support. Keep in mind, his senior year, he had a shoulder injury, and he played through it. So his toughness there in terms of his physicality, able to play through pain, that's up there. So him as a physical player, I don't think there's any like mental toughness. I think he's got that. This is a good job reading the quarterback's eyes, right? Quarterback on the run. Jumps out in front of the guy. I like when safeties do this, right? The play's kind of getting towards the end of the play here. It's breaking down a little bit, and he breaks on the ball, right? And instead of running with the wide receiver, he breaks as soon as he sees the throw, cuts off the throw, and gets the pick. So those are just little things where it's just like, you know, you have just as much right to the ball as the wide receiver does. Run the route for him, right? Take the initiative there. Here he is in run support. Good patience, outside leverage. And this, you know, this seems like a pretty routine play. Thing I like, he's not flying upfield, right? He's pretty composed here, waiting. I like this little side shuffle, waiting for the running back to commit. As soon as he does and he sees his lane, he commits to it right here, head on the outside. Okay, that's one more thing. Where the only way this running back's getting any yardage on this is to the outside. So you can see he delivers a nice pop here, and his head's on the outside. So he had contain and delivered a pop to boot. So that's good. Here, quick on run support as well. Not the best angle, right? He kind of had to bend this angle a little bit, but nice closing speed there to finish the tackle. Welcome, Vaughn. Way to get that laundry done. Here again, way to go low there. Oh, I think he probably messed up that dude's leg. Oh, yeah. He messed that dude's leg bad. But caused a fumble because he tore that dude's ACL. Not on purpose, but wow, look at that one. Look at this. So, yeah, man, I don't question his physicality, right? And when watching his film, it's like, all right, I think he has pretty good defensive back skills. Why is he a safety? Because he can fly up and make a hit like that, right? Put the nose on the ball. Does a good job there. But, yeah, his ability in the open field, he's a little bit lackadaisical here, right? I don't know exactly what coverage they are here, but he's a little bit lackadaisical here. This guy gets over the top, this wide receiver. So in college, I assume you just don't let anyone get past you deep here, right? I don't know exactly what coverage they're running, but what the hell? It's not working. Work. Okay. But he lets this wide receiver get behind him a little bit, right? And he's lucky because the throw is late. But in college, this might not end up super well. So he gets bailed out by a bad throw. But again, that's just kind of like a sloppy play that he's the benefactor of. Here, covering the wheel route. That speed, his closing speed there didn't really impress me, right? Again, with this angle. So he cuts under number 10 like you have to, right? I like his technique on making contact. There's a little bit of separation here that he does end up closing out a little bit as the ball's getting there. But, you know, it's hard to see where the speed is or like how fast that wide receiver is. I don't know why they call this a out of bounds. Seemed like a foot probably came down. That ref doesn't like him apparently. All right, here he goes. Little option play. Again, good job outside contain. It's these little things, right? You have all the help behind you. And this is something that I don't know if it was last year, maybe a couple years ago, but keeping your head to the outside, right? There is all the room is outside here. If you're going to miss a tackle, or if this guy wants to juke, right? If this guy wants to juke, make him juke back inside. Look at all the bodies you got flowing to this play, right? You got all the bodies on the inside. So I love to continually see that while he's attacking, coming downhill here, he keeps his head to the outside. The only way this guy makes Rod, or the only way, that this running back makes Rod Moore miss is if he cuts inside and then tries to cut back outside. At that point, look at the cavalry you got following behind him, right? So that's something where it's just put the hat on the ball. Put the hat across his body to the outside. And again, if this guy stuttered or made Rod Moore miss, fine. You got all the help in the world coming. But he forced that fumble. Went out of bounds, but that's just solid defense overall. Where is he here? Oh, I don't really see him. Okay. It's probably a fumble. No, he just came up to finish a tackle. So yeah, he's not able to get his head in there, right? Not able to lay a, not scared to lay a hit on a guy. Here, good job. Way to keep your head up, right? That was a fake punt. So good awareness. Right, understand his keys, watches him go out on a route, maybe a second late, right? But that's a defensive, or it's a tight end type player. So able to close out there, get a hand on the ball, and turn over on downs. Good closing speed on this one. Okay, and this is a good angle, right? He very early on, you see his eyes on his keys here, notices the guy in motion, and then he breaks right through the backfield here. So this shows good closing speed. This is probably the first play where it's all right, he can he has good enough closing speed to make this work at the collegiate level. He's got that. So I don't think it's probably not a 4 guy, but maybe higher 4.5s. Could be lower than that. Again, I don't know his track times from his recent years. And then I just like to see guys that are their punt return or kick return guys, just because it means they're, versatile athletes overall. Here, this is just good job with very little wasted movement, right? So he gets into his back pedal first, notices where the ball is, boom, no wasted movement, okay? This is another really good initial angle, right? He didn't have to divert there. He knew exactly where the play was going, closed it, boom, hits low. So he seems like a pretty efficient player overall, pretty refined. Here, again, great job keeping outside contained. A little bit scary here, right? He had to beat this tackle, but it's a good job for him knowing what's my responsibility here, right? As soon as he gets locked in with this guy, what does he do? He has to get outside contained, because that's where everything for this back is. That's all he has. So it's a good job working outside arm free, and then dives across his body, right? It's a tough tackle to make. Here he is, kick return. I don't think he'll be a kick return guy down the line. I just think Michigan has plenty of offensive bodies that will do really well there. But he looked pretty natural, right? Good vision. I think that football IQ that we see a lot of on the defensive side, I think that kind of plays a part in that as well, as kick return, punt return sort of guy. He's coming down. Yeah, I like that he's pretty composed. He understands where his fit is. And that's so important, right? Because this guy can go a couple different ways, right? He can cut out this way where you have this guy. He can try to bounce it out here where he's got this guy. He doesn't rush up, right? He's waiting for the running back to commit, and then and only then does he actually go for the tackle. Welcome, John Sema. Welcome back. It's John Sema. So he's a sure tackler. Do you get that joke a lot, John Sema? You probably get that joke a lot. I apologize for giving you that one. Here, again, good closing speed. Right? As soon as he recognizes it, okay, I'm contained. He gets over there. Again, his scouting report, I think someone left a comment maybe on Reddit, but his scouting report did say that he needs to add a little bit of pop. It's honestly there. I include other people's scouting reports as a part of my video, but that's something I don't really agree with. I think he's got got plenty of pop thus far. Good job there. Pretty secure tackler. Here is back pedal. I mean, this is a little sloppy, right? Just because, so he's in his back pedal here, right? His hips are here. I guess it makes sense, right? So his hips are shaded. He's shaded this way. So when this guy's running like a skinny post, maybe a seam route, right? He's going here. He turns his back to the play and gets here. And it's quicker because his hips already turn this way, right? Him turning from this to redirect to this route, that's quicker. But the bad news is you're diverting your eyes from the play. So generally, you would like to see him not commit this hard with his hips pointed this way so that he could open up his hips, right? If he opened up his hips and turned this way, he could keep his eyes on both the receiver and the play. Because say this guy does like a double move, right? And instead of Rod Moore turning this way, you know, if he's turning this way, his back's to the play. He's committing right here on this route. If it's a double move, he doesn't have the eyes to redirect there. So I think a little bit of technique there just to have your hips more like this guy, right? Where you're not fully committed yet, and then you have to turn your back on the play. That just opens yourself up to a double move in the future. So good job though. I mean, he times his pass breakups well. And Ross Hickson, nice to see, good tackling, not just hitting. That's a great point as well. He's generally going pretty low and he wraps up pretty well. Yeah, I like his timing overall on this. I don't think he's like he's not a corner, but I think he can hack it, right? Punches with his left arm here. Here he does a better job of flipping his hips. That's hard to do, right? Because he's kind of committed. Again, he might have just a tendency to flip his hips that way. I mean, again, you kind of want to you want to ensure that when a guy's running at the sidelines, right, it's easier to turn and run with him when you flip your hips to the outside like that. But that's a pretty exaggerated movement he has to do there, right, to open his hips and run on the slant. Good closing speed right there, though, and good timing to get the pass break up. So he can hack it, in a pinch, and he's, as a nickel safety guy, I think he can hack it to come up and cover on occasion. Good job here again, going low. And thing I like, he doesn't have to divert his angles all too much. We saw a couple plays, maybe one play where I was critical of that, but more often than not, he's on the correct angle, and then he shifts his speed, right? He's like, okay, I'm going here, slow down, and then he commits. And he does that pretty well. So he does a solid job of taking a correct angle initially and not having to, divert that anywhere. Causes another fumble there. Seems to have a knack for the ball. Here again, just patient, right? He's patient here. And that's what I like. He's coming down. He realizes his fit, right? He's exactly where you want to be at this point, right? Because again, there's lots of things that can still happen here. You don't want him committing right away at this point because it may leave this running back an option to go to the outside. But by him taking an extra beat here, he can redirect any which way that this running back goes and make a play on it. So he has just good timing overall as a safety to know when to slow down and when to accelerate and finish the play, right? There's not any really extra yards gained here. And as a safety, your main job is to just mitigate risk, okay? Make zero mistakes, be dependable, and that's the safety's biggest job, and that's what he does. He arrives here a bit early, right? I think he's here right there a second early, so he might get flagged for that. But I like his technique overall, right? Get on the back shoulder, rake through with the front arm. He might have got flagged on that one. Okay, here we see him blitzing, a little bit sloppy, but that's not really his forte, so I'm fine with it. Where we at? How much film we got? Yeah, we got a couple minutes left here. Here, coming down on kind of a swing pass. Good job. This is a tough play, right? Because again, he's on his path, right? He recognizes, okay, the swing pass, I got to kind of he starts off a little bit aggressive, right? He starts off here, and then he kind of shallows out a little bit. And then you'll see him decelerate, right? Okay, I got to get out there. Recognize, okay, I'm in a good position. And again, he's at this point where he recognizes I need to determine whether this guy's going to stop and try to go back inside or continue up the sideline, right? And he decides this is the right area in which I need to slow down and react to his movements. So he decelerates at the right time, able to diagnose that and get a shoestring tackle. So some of those shoestring tackles won't really work, you know, against stronger guys in college, right? So you may have an issue there, but he's doing the right things, you know, like he's decelerating at the right time. He's filling the right gaps. And I think his general football IQ is pretty high, and he looks comfortable coming downhill, right? There again. He's running at a good speed. He's like matching the play speed to get to the spot where he needs to at the right time. Ooh, he kind of gets burned there a little bit, right? Able to break up the pass, but he committed a little hard on that one, I think. Let's watch that again. Here he is. Yeah. So I mean, against, you know, next level, college level, you're in trouble, right? And what he should be like doing, he should know that he has at least some help here, right? 37. So this is the route, right? You got boom, boom, boom. On this right here, you need to rely on this guy to do a little bit better job here, right? You should be staying over the top here. And again, this is easier said than done, right? Like, I totally get it. Like, this is a good route from the wide receiver to get him to commit, but he comes upfield a little bit too much, okay? He should be more, you know, I'm behind the play, and he attacks it a little bit much, where you have this guy here to challenge that pass already, okay? So he comes up a little hard. He actually does a better job staying lateral, right? So he doesn't come forward too much. You see, he's still actually going back towards the 30-yard line, so he's still gaining depth. So not the worst thing, but it forces him into an awkward situation here, right? And that's just kind of a consequence of the route overall. Thing I like here, he's watching the wide receiver's eyes, right? He recognizes, okay, this ball is thrown. I need to understand when to rake through the wide receiver's hands at this point, okay? So he's watching the eyes of the wide receiver, and then he says, okay, right there, that's the ball. So it's a good job reading the wide receiver to actually do that. Yeah, Aaron Bryant, college wide receiver on this logo, is gone. Okay, here we got some wide receiver highlights. Again, those ball skills, right? That's a tough catch. Away from your body. So I really like him as like a free safety. I think he operates in space pretty well, and I like those ball skills. Yeah, he's able to come up and lay a hit, you know. He's not afraid to do that at all. Here he is again. Where does he go? Recognizes the guy's going for it. Comes up at the right time. Kind of operating as a corner here. Good hit. Yeah, I mean, he has good closing speed. He doesn't like. I think he's a smart safety, so he doesn't have to like show it off all that much. But I like how he loads up for hits overall. And he's going pretty low, and he goes for like kind of the rugby tackle, right, where you wrap up and roll. You see that technique a lot in his film here. Here he is, backside contain, comes down nicely, makes that tackle. Good job. Roderick Moore. Is this Rod Moore Sr.? Yep, you have to settle this. I mentioned you earlier, Rod Moore, and I was like, I bet this is Rod Moore Sr. But I could be wrong. It'd be a hell of a consequence. Or coincidence, excuse me. But Rod Moore in the chat. Roderick Moore. Good contain here. Right, this is another thing where it's just good IQ, right? It's just smart. And it's exactly what you want from a safety. Where is the only guy this guy can be successful, right? You got guys following out here. You got these two guys. This guy will be trailing. The only way this guy can be successful is if he gets up the sideline. So all you need to do if you're Roderick Moore here is just cut it off, right? Get him back inside. Keep your outside shoulder. Rod Moore Sr., welcome, buddy. Again, look where the head is, right? And what does that force 17 to do? He's cutting back inside, and he's got help. I mean, this guy gets absolutely lit up, right? And that's all because of what Rod Moore does to cut off the field. He cuts off the field right here by his positioning, right? And he stops right here, and he forces this guy, okay, make a decision. Are you going back into the teeth of the defense here, or are you going to try to go to the outside? And his positioning creates that conflict in the offensive player, and as a result, he just gets absolutely suplexed. And it's phenomenal, right? But even though Rod Moore didn't, he isn't the one applying like the huge hit, right? It's created because of the positioning that he had. He had outside leverage, and what did I say? It gets the teeth of the defense coming back to him. He gets absolutely punished for it. So that's what you got to do. Gap integrity. It's one of the most important things. Here again, right? There's a lot of open field here. I just like how he recognizes where he needs to break down, when he needs to break down, and then deliver the hit. Here he's got a blocker coming out. Good job there again with outside contain. Backwards pass a little bit. Did he actually recover that? He did. Yep. Here he's operating as a cornerback. 6-yard cushion. Yeah, I don't see like a whole lot of backpedal from his game, just where his alignment is. So maybe there's some technique things to clean up. Every player needs to have that a little bit. But yeah, he's a pretty sure tackler. I like how he breaks down overall. Breaks down for the tackle. Pretty high floor. Oh, I didn't realize he had a cast on that final play there. But yeah, I would say like football IQ overall. I think he takes solid angles. Yeah, and it goes back to kind of my initial point on the article I wrote as a part of this video. Sometimes I look at a recruit and think, what am I missing? Right? He's just outside the top 500 overall, and he reads more like a top 350 or so recruit. And let's see where that would put him. Okay, so let's go to the overall composite, 506. And what I say, like top 350 overall. Oh, this might take a bit. But yeah, I mean, he's just dependable, right? It's hard to see any true limiting factor. His track times are a bit out of date, so it's hard to get a true grasp on what his top end speed is, right? We don't have 40 times. We don't have shuttle times. Shuttle times are really important for safety as well, and we just don't have that. But like I didn't see anything glaring, right? So yeah, I think 350. I think he's definitely more of a like in that 4-star range. I just don't see enough for me to be like, yeah, he's not a 4-star, right? He's not afraid to hit, and that's a great thing for a safety. But he also has really solid ball skills. Takes good angles. I'm getting towards the end of the list here, right? I went through all of Michigan's. I think I got 3 more left, so we're kind of towards the bottom of the class at this point, and I see a lot of these guys, and it's just like I don't see why they're not ranked a little bit higher. So yeah, I mean his floor is pretty high. Now, how high is his ceiling? Hard to say. I would expect. I mean, I think safety's pretty good this year. Right, I think you got after the starters, there is some room, right? We saw true freshman Makari Page last year make an impact, but we got Brad Hawkins, we got Dax Hill. I mean, his instincts are there for him to contribute pretty early. Fastest 40, 4.38. I want to see that stopwatch, Rod Moore. I mean, to be honest, his 6.99 60-meter dash as a sophomore, that's pretty good. All right, that's pretty good. So I'm not, and that's as a sophomore, right? So there's still a lot of room there. But yeah, I just don't see that 500 rating. But again, this is, if you want to see a year where there's just going to be some weird rankings overall, it's going to be this year. These guys weren't able to get out to camps. Not a lot of scouts were able to get out to them. And a thing to look at is kind of like what was their history on their overall ranking. And it was mostly trending up. Okay, this like slight ding here is more because like they find other guys or something. It's not a like big drop off, but this is a pretty solid improvement from an 8.20 up to an 8.8 towards the top. But yeah, man, I mean, I just don't see it. I just don't see how he's outside the top 500 overall. I think he's closer to like 300, 350 range. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know how 22 second 200 meter is mid to low 4.4 speed. I'd say, yeah, I mean, if you can do a 22 second 200 meter, that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid speed. Now, plane speed, I mean, you have to consider plane speed is different than track speed, right? Two different sports. But I did like his closing speed overall. And as a safety, I think your closing speed is a lot more important than your true long speed. So, yeah, I mean, his offers don't jump out at you, but I'm pretty shocked he didn't have more attention. Okay, at 170, you probably want him closer to like 185, or no, he was listed at 180, I think, on Michigan's roster. Let me look this up. Rod Moore, Michigan. I think he was at 180 on Michigan's roster. Okay, so 5'11", 180. You know, he could probably operate at that height, 185, maybe get him up to 190. But yeah, someone mentioned it. I think it was you, Aaron Bryant. Ross Hickson. Football IQ, definitely a plus for him. I think that's the big thing. The higher the football IQ, the better the instincts overall. That's going to increase your chances of being an early impact player compared to other guys, right? That's one of the most important factors. How quickly can you pick up the playbook, and how quickly can you get a feel for the game? And if you bring in that intelligence, that football IQ, that's going to make things a lot easier, because you have to pick up a lot of things from the transition from high school to college, and that just eliminates one of the biggest, right? There are lots of guys who come into the game who are ready from a physical standpoint, and he's close. He doesn't have a whole lot of work to do. He seems relatively close to his playing weight already, but the mental aspect is what takes guys usually a year, couple of years, especially on defense, and as a safety as well, where your whole job is to not mess up, right? One mistake, and that could be a touchdown. More than any other position, really. That could be, it's a pretty all or nothing position. It's one where if you're not on the stat sheet, or if you're not, if your name's not getting called out a whole lot, you're probably doing your job, right? So we'll see. I just think with a couple guys on the roster, I don't think this year he'll have a real chance to make an impact. I could be wrong. I didn't see Makari Page as a guy who would make an impact last year, and he did that, right? So I think with a new defensive system, it actually helps Rod Moore a little bit compared to, like, say it was still Don Brown's system. You would have Makari Page. You'd have all the guys who had a couple years to own the playbook ahead of Rod Moore, right? Rod Moore's coming in, and every other safety on the roster only has a couple months to learn how to be a safety in this new defense. And Rod Moore is kind of learning from square one as well. right? So he's not at as big of a disadvantage in that regard as he would be if it was an established defense. So he could, come in and be one of those guys who provides some depth right away, hit the 2 deep maybe. But I think next year will be the year where he can really make an impact. Because at that point, you're probably not going to have Dax around anymore. This is last year for Brad Hawkins. And I think that's when you'll see Rod Moore compete for a starting role, at the very least, provide depth for a year, and then continue to push for a starting role. But again, man, him as a 3-star around 500, that doesn't make sense. He looks like a 4-star. He's got a skill set that a floor for this guy is extremely high for where he's ranked. You don't see guys ranked 500 with the floor that he provides at that position. So that's kind of where I'm at. We don't pull many 4 or 5 stars from Ohio. That's true. IQ and availability will get a player on the field. Exactly. And you gotta consider how important is IQ. How important is football IQ to the position you play, right? If you're a quarterback on offense, huge, right? Absolutely massive. If you're, and then honestly, number 2 is either linebacker or safety. Those are positions where you really need to have a really good understanding of the game, how you fit in the defense, and relying on those instincts. It's a lot of that. Special teams could be a good place for him this year. That's true. That's true. It depends on what they see for him, right? Do they see him as a redshirt, give him that extra year of eligibility with the transfer portal? I think you're going to see a record number of, or I should say the least amount of red shirts overall, just because, if guys don't make an impact by year 2 or year 3, you can almost expect them to go. Okay. So he does have a good skill set to contribute to special teams. So that's a good point, Aaron, that he could make an impact in that regard. If that's the path, right? If they still want him to get stronger, if they're not comfortable getting him out there as a true freshman, they want to work on him still, I could see that. But safeties overall are really solid players for special teams. They can contribute in a lot of different ways, like a gunner on punt team, right? Kickoff team. 100% an area he could contribute. Malachi, I'm excited for next year, even though much of our freshmen won't play just yet. I'm excited to see their growth in 2022. Yeah, it's a good class. It's a good class. And I've been saying that for the past couple of years, right? That 2017 class, I mean, you go back and look at it, they were ranked number 5. You had like 17 transfers by this point. And this is the year, 2020 and 2021, where these guys were supposed to be the class, right? Leading the team. And instead, you have the class that follows, which, again, you can't recruit a whole lot of talent year after year unless you're Alabama, Ohio State. So not ranked as high, but these are the guys kind of carrying the team. A lot of them are, at least, but a fair amount did last year as well. So now is really the time that we're going to see. I'm kind of calling it like the second wave, right? Where it's the 2019, 2020, 2021 guys. This is the year where it's put up or shut up for these guys. And I think 2021 has a really, really solid class. Really think Moore could be a 3-year starter at Michigan, faces stiff competition this season. Once Dax and Hawkins are gone, competition is wide open. Yeah, next year, it's going to be a free-for-all at the safety position, a true free-for-all. I don't know if there's any front runners behind Dax or Hawkins. So I think you're right. I think it's an extremely favorable depth chart for him. Okay, guys, I'm out. I got to go do some studying. But I appreciate you guys coming out. Make sure you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. We're close to 4,000. Trying to get there before the season starts. I think we'll do it. But if you could hit that subscribe button, it really helps show you guys support. But otherwise, I'll see you guys next week. I'll spoil it for you. I got this guy. Let's go. Where am I? Where am I? Got this guy for Monday's episode. Just recorded it earlier today. Editing it tonight as well. So you'll see this on Monday, and I'll be back for a live stream on Monday evening as well. I might switch up the times. So keep an eye on the community tab here on YouTube and my Twitter. But it'll be around the same time probably. But appreciate you guys coming out. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I'll talk to you guys next week.